Hello and welcome to Wagner's Tech Talk. Today we're going to take a look at the latest Anbernic device, the RG280M. It comes in multiple colors, including the beautiful Wagner's Tech Talk purple. Let's check it out right now. I would like to extend a huge thank you to TomTop for sending me this unit for review. Let's start off with the RG280M specifications. It has a JZ4770 dual-core CPU running at 1 GHz. It's the same as the RG350 or RG350M. The display is a 2-inch IPS display at 320 by 480, which is a rather unusual resolution. In contrast, the RG350M is a 640 by 480 display. Like the RG350M, the RG280M also includes an aluminum alloy chassis. It has 512 megabytes of DDR2 RAM, a 2500 mAh battery, which will last slightly longer than the RG350M, and it includes the colors of black, gray, and gradient. It also includes 2 micro SD cards, one 16GB micro SD for your firmware or the internal storage, and then 32GB, which is your external, which includes 2500 games, and they're officially stating it's expandable to 256GB, which is awesome. Just a quick side note, I did test this unit with my 512GB micro SD, and it worked fine as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and unbox the RG280M. Again, I'd like to thank TomTop for sending me this unit for review. I will put links in the description below. And the prices at TomTop are highly competitive and probably the best prices you're going to find. Alright, so let's take a look at the box here. We've got the RG280M. Very cool. There's all the colors, what's included in the box. And over here, just the front view of the unit and the specs, which we've already covered. Alright, let's open it up and see what's inside. That looks awesome. Oh, I love that color. Wagner's Tech Talk Purple. That's what I'm going to call it. You can call it what you want. Call it gradient. When I unboxed this unit, it had a slight problem. The left button was jammed. I'm sure it's just a one-off manufacturing or assembly defect. Also to note, these are not Phillips screws, so you're going to need another tool to open that, or I will. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish the unboxing here. You got a USB-C to USB-A cable for charging. You've got this user's guide, or user's manual rather. And let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. Of course, you can pause any of this if you want to read it. I just want to skim through this so you can get an idea of some of the content that's provided in the user's manual. And then here we have a quick start guide. Tells you a little bit of information about how to get started with your RG280M. Alright, so let's go ahead and power it on before we disassemble it. Just so we can, yeah, that's what I expected. The button's being held down continuously. To open it up, you'll need a tool like this. I just so happen to have plenty of bits available so I could unscrew it. And we'll open it up. And this little booger right here is jammed so good, I don't know how that happened. But whoever managed to do that did a really good job. I had to pry it open with this little flathead screwdriver. Make sure that button works and just set that in properly. And yes, the micro switch is working fine. So we should be good here. We'll go ahead and screw everything back on. And again, this is just most likely a one-off issue. But if I'm going to review a unit, I'm going to be perfectly honest, and this is what happened, and now it's fixed. Looks good. Cool. Let's move on. Alright, so now let's take a look at the differences with the 280M versus some of the other handhelds. Alright, the buttons, they feel good. The joystick works well. Keep in mind there is only one joystick on this device. On the 350M and the 350 there were two. On the side here you have the volume controls on the RG350M and power on the left hand side. On the bottom the external and internal are reversed from the RG350M. Reset button still in the middle. I don't quite understand the reasoning for swapping them, but hey. On the right side of the 280M you'll find the volume as opposed to the power on the 350M. Let's take a quick look at the size difference between the RG350 and the 280M. As you can tell, yeah, there's a little bit of a difference there. Also, the start and select has been moved down to the bottom, whereas on the RG350M, they're on the top. The LED indicator has been moved from the upper right into the glass on the RG280M. And if we compare the top of the RG350M to the 280M, you'll notice there's no HDMI port, but there is a headphone jack and your USB-C power input here. Cool. They also kept the rubber grips, which I like. Nice. Alright, so let's go ahead and weigh the devices. We'll start out with the original RG350 at 171.8 grams, the 280M at 203.5 grams, and the RG350M at 247.9 grams. I don't see any difference in the pre-installed applications. However, I do notice some differences under the emulators. Here you have Xmame, DOSBox, FBA, and I'll cycle quickly through all the emulators here, so in case you want to pause it, you can take a look. Now if we compare it to the RG350M and take a look at the emulators tab and move down towards the bottom, you will see a difference. MAME for All and SNES 9X, both of those emulators are absent on the 280M. Not a big deal because we can install them, but I just want to make you aware that those two emulators do not come pre-installed on the device. Here's a quick tip for the Neo Geo emulator. If you start it up and everything sounds really fast, such as this, then what you want to do is go into the options, set the auto frame skip to true, and then try it again, and the audio will be synchronized. So while we're here, let's go ahead and check out the Neo Geo emulator playing Metal Slug 2, one of my favorite Neo Geo games. Now we'll check out Legend of Zelda, The Oracle of Ages on the Game Boy Color. Moving on to the PlayStation 1, we'll check out Driver 2. Get out of my way, buddy. Yeah, you heard me. Get out of the way. Now we'll check out Marvel vs. Capcom. Now we'll move on to a classic game from 1994, Donkey Kong Country on the SNES. And of course, Mario Kart on the Game Boy Advance. shots. And finally, we'll take a look at this cool game, Super X on Final Burn Alpha. I hope you enjoyed this look at the RG280M. I absolutely love the color scheme that they used here. The smaller form factor is likely going to appeal to many people. One thing I personally wish this unit had was 2 joysticks instead of just the one. I love playing Robotron, and I can't play it on this device. Also, in taking a look at TomTop's website, there's only a $13 price difference between the RG350M and the RG280M, albeit a little bit larger. So it's totally up to you what you prefer. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like button. If you want to see more from Wagner's Tech Talk, please click the subscribe. And with that, I shall talk to you very soon.